topic liquid state. Actually, more than two-thirds, it will be in your physics class also. So here only chemistry part, one-third. That is why that part I'm going to complete here. So remaining part you will discuss in your physics. The same here is also used. So actually, this is very less important towards your objective side. Almost no problem, no bit is from very rare. Almost either one or two among last 5 years in your objective side. Okay, so see here, what is this? Is my voice clear? First of all, clarify this. Please give your confirmation. Voice is clear? Yes. Okay, thank you. See, my dear boys, liquid stage. Now we are in states of matter. We are in states of matter. A part is liquid state. In states of matter, the matter can be divided into three states. One is solid, another one is liquid, another one is gaseous state. In solid, atoms are very close to each other. In liquids, molecules are almost close, not too much close. But in gaseous state, molecules are far away from each other. Next, liquids have definite shape. Solids have definite shape. Liquids don't have definite shape, but having fixed volume. The shape of the container in which it is taken is the shape of that liquid. Next, gases have no shape and no volume. Volume of the container is the volume of the gas. Now, up to yesterday's class, gaseous state is completed, over. So, by compression and at a critical temperature, by compression, the gas can be converted into liquid state. So, now we have liquid. What are the properties of the liquid state? So, here, molecules of that particular liquid are very near to each other, not close to each other. They don't have particular volume, particular shape. The shape of the container is taken is called as the shape of the liquid. Next, they have fixed volume. These are less compressible than gases. Gases are more compressible because there is a large gap between molecule and molecule. That's why so more compressibility is possible in gaseous state, but there is a very less gap between molecule to molecule. That is why less compressible than that of the gases. Okay, these liquids also diffuse like gases. That is when through a pinhole the gas coming out from high pressure region to low pressure region. So this is called as diffusion. Just like the gases, liquids also going to diffuse, but gases are fast, liquids are slow. Less diffuse than, slowly diffuse than gases and liquids. So these are some properties. Along these properties, there are certain characteristic properties for this liquid state. Now I am going to discuss those characteristic points here. What are those characteristic points? So liquids have vapor pressure concepted. Liquids have vapor pressure. Next, those liquids have also surface tension and viscosity. These are the three properties. Now we are in our syllabus: vapor state, vapor pressure, surface tension, viscosity. So this surface tension is indicated with the letter gamma. Viscosity is indicated with the letter eta. So this surface tension and viscosity are the most important chapters in your physics side. Surface tension of the liquid and viscosity of the liquid are most important chapters in your physics. The entire data which you have to learn in your physics exactly useful also in your chemistry. That's why here surface tension and viscosity is negligible from my side. After completion of the topic in your physics, please use here. So now I am going to explain only vapor pressure of the liquid here and some properties, that is the formula, units, or only I am going to explain that that is towards the surface tension and viscosity. So now what is our aim? It is the complete concept towards your vapor pressure. And about your viscosity and surface tension, just a formula, definition, and a little properties, the effect of temperature, something else like that. So only these are I am going to explain here. So the surface tension, viscosity, automatically you should learn in your physics also. My dear boys, I'm once again telling to you, all those proper concepts which you have to learn in your physics, completely useful in chemistry also. Okay, so now I'm going to explain vapor and vapor pressure of the liquid. Vapor and vapor pressure of the liquid. Before going to explain this one, that is, first of all, you should learn about evaporation. And the other one is condensation. These are the two important words towards your liquids. What is evaporation? What is condensation? So what is evaporation? What is condensation? See here. So evaporation. So let us take a liquid. This is the beaker in which liquid is taken. So this is the liquid. Here, this is the, let it be water. These are all water molecules. So these are all water molecules. That black dotted line is the surface area of that water molecules. So this is all water. Let it be water. Now, these are the molecules which are connecting to the surface of that liquid. Surface water molecules. Now, these are the bulk water molecules. Okay. So, these bulk molecules are surrounded with a number of other bulk molecules. That means the force of attraction along all directions are very, very equal and same. Next, but surface molecules, these forces of attractions are not equivalent. So here some forces are there. Next, now surface molecules are free to move. That means the kinetic energy of the surface molecules is little bit more than that of these bulk molecules. The kinetic energy of these surface molecules is a little bit more than that of these bulk molecules. So next, these surface molecules, see here. This is the surface. These are the surface molecules. Now I am going to explain this surface molecule. This surface molecule is connected with other bulk molecules. So this surface molecule absorbs some energy from this bulk molecules and increases its internal energy and increases its kinetic energy and escaping from that liquid surface, so entered into the vapor state. That means the surface molecule that absorbs, that increases its internal energy and its kinetic energy by absorbing some energy from its connecting molecules. So automatically its kinetic energy increases. Because of that, the force of attraction between the molecules is going to collapse, the breakdown because of high kinetic energy and escaping from liquid to vapor state. Now this is vaporized molecule. So the same liquid which is in vapor state, it is in liquid state. That is vaporized molecule. The conversion of this liquid into vapor is called as evaporation. The process of conversion of liquid into vapor is called as evaporation. Because of this evaporation, the kinetic energy and energy of this vaporized molecule increases, energy of that vaporized, but the bulk molecule's energy is decreases. Because from this it collects energy. From this, it collects energy. That is why the energy of these bulk molecules decreases. That means the temperature of these bulk molecules decreases. That means the bulk liquid gets cooled. Bulk liquid temperature decreases. That means it gets cooled. This is the phenomena why the tea present in saucer is easier, that is cools easily than that which is in cup. So there is a cup and water. It is a saucer. It is a tea. It is a cup. There is also TA. Here surface area is more molecules are going to evaporate. That means more temperature is lost. That means it is easily decreases its energy, temperature. Therefore, it gets cooled. But here less surface area is there, less molecules are going to evaporate. That means less energy is decreased, not that much is going to cool. That is why, so saucer, the tea present in saucer is cooled faster than the present in cup. That means more is the surface area, more is the evaporation. More is the surface area, more is the evaporation. Yes, it is already existing in your 10th class. Okay, so now it is vaporization. That means as time going on, the number of vaporizer molecules are increased. The number of vaporizer molecules are increased. That means here evaporation is directly proportional to surface area and also directly proportional to temperature. The evaporation is directly proportional to surface area and also directly proportional to temperature. Okay, so now as temperature increases, these molecules absorb something more energy and increases their kinetic energy, automatically escaping from surface of that liquid, easily enter into the vaporous state. That means as temperature increases, rate of evaporation. What is the meaning of rate? That is the number of molecules, that is the number of liquid molecules which are going to evaporate from the surface per unit time. It's called as rate of evaporation. So that rate of evaporation increases. That rate of evaporation increases. So now, what is this? All this, it is atmosphere. Atmosphere has some pressure in it. Atmosphere has some pressure in it. The pressure is 76 centimeters of Hg. Atmosphere pressure is 76 centimeters of Hg. That is atmospheric pressure. Now, these liquid molecules, these vaporizer molecules also have some pressure in it, which is just 50 centimeters of Hg. It is a pressure due to this vapor in it. It is the atmospheric pressure in it. That means atmospheric pressure is greater than that of liquid pressure, vaporizer pressure. That means above this liquid, more pressure is there. Below, that is, more pressure is there. Automatically, these molecules not entered into the atmosphere, not entered into the atmosphere. That is why these molecules are up. There is something pressure is applied on these vaporizer molecules. That means some of these vaporizer molecules are converted into liquid state. That means this is the molecule. See here. This is the vaporizer molecule which is nearer to the surface of this liquid. So there is an intermolecular attractive forces are existing between liquid molecules and vaporizer molecules and come back to the liquid state. The process of conversion of this vaporizer molecule into liquid state is called as a condensation. The process of conversion of that vaporizer molecule because of intermolecular forces is called as condensation. Evaporation is liquid to vapor. It is vaporization. So vapor to liquid is condensation. These two are in opposite directions. The rate of evaporation, rate of vaporization, rate of condensation, both are no doubt different. No doubt different. That means here the liquid surface, these are the vaporizer molecules, these are the liquid molecules. These are the liquid molecules. Liquid molecules going to vaporizer, vaporizer molecules going to liquid, it is condensation. So at here, 1 atmosphere pressure is maintained, that is atmosphere pressure which is 76 centimeters of Hg. So but the pressure due to this vapor is called as, let it be 50 centimeters of Hg, which is less than that of this one. Okay. So now I am going to increase the temperature of this liquid. Now I am going to increase the temperature of liquid. That is, number of vaporizer molecules increases. That is, rate of evaporation increases. Automatically, vaporizer molecules increases. As the vaporizer molecules increases, its pressure also increases. Now it is going to 70 centimeters of Hg. Now the temperature is at nearly 90 degrees centigrade. Let it be. At 90 degrees centigrade, vapor pressure of that liquid, that water is 70 centimeters, but atmospheric pressure is 76 centimeters. Now, something vaporizer molecules are converted into liquid state also. That is, there should be a condensation. More is the vaporizer molecule, more is the condensation. So that means here rate of vaporization is not equal to rate of condensation. But after some time, the number of molecules vaporized is equal to number of molecules going to liquid state. That is, after some time, rate of vaporization is equal to rate of condensation. Rate of evaporation is equal to rate of condensation. So at a particular temperature, so rate of evaporation is equal to rate of condensation. So that particular state is called as equilibrium state. That particular state is called as equilibrium state. What is equilibrium? At a particular temperature, at a particular situation, the rate of evaporation of a liquid is equal to rate of condensation of that particular its vaporate. So where the two rates are equal, that is called as equilibrium. Now this vapor and this liquid is in equilibrium. At this equilibrium state, this vapor creates something pressure on this liquid surface. This vapor creates something pressure on this liquid surface. That pressure exerted by the vapor when it is in equilibrium with its liquid is called as vapor pressure of the liquid. What is vapor pressure of the liquid? Generally, liquid is going to evaporate. Those vaporized molecules come back into liquid state. That is by condensation. Evaporation and condensation both are in opposite directions. Both are in opposite directions. At a particular time, the rate of evaporation is equal to rate of condensation. That means number of evaporating molecules is equal to number of condensation molecules. That means volume of liquid and volume of vapor is not changed, but rate of evaporation takes place, rate of condensation takes place, which is taken as equilibrium state. Which is taken as equilibrium state. At equilibrium, both liquid and vapor coexist. At equilibrium, both liquid and vapor coexist. Now that vapor applies some pressure on the surface of this liquid. Now that vapor applies some pressure on the surface of the liquid. That pressure due to its vapor is called as the vapor pressure of the liquid. Vapor pressure of the liquid. Now, what is the statement for this one? What is vapor pressure? Vapor pressure is nothing but the pressure exerted by vapor of liquid on the surface of liquid when liquid and vapor are in equilibrium is called vapor pressure of the liquid. When liquid and vapor are in equilibrium is called as vapor pressure of the liquid. That means at this condition, liquid exists, vapor exists, vapor and liquid are coexisting. That applied pressure by vapor is called as vapor pressure of the liquid. This vapor pressure increases with increase of temperature because number of vaporized molecules increases. As number of molecules increases, vaporized molecules increases, vapor pressure also increases. Vapor pressure also increases. See here, this is the liquid, this is the vapor. And previously now, which is 50 centimeters of Hg, the vapor pressure. Now temperature increases. Number of vaporized molecules also increases. Now it becomes 70 centimeters. Now the temperature is 90 degrees centigrade. Now something temperature is increased. Now 90 to 100 degrees centigrade reached. At this, the vapor pressure is equal to 76 centimeters, which is equal to atmosphere pressure. The temperature at which vapor pressure of the liquid is equal to atmosphere pressure is called as the boiling point of that liquid. The temperature at which vapor pressure of the liquid is equal to atmosphere pressure is equal to boiling point of that liquid. Is equal to boiling point of that liquid. What is boiling point? That is the temperature at which vapor pressure of the liquid is equal to atmospheric pressure. How much is the atmospheric pressure? It is 76 centimeters of Hg or 760 mm of Hg. 76 centimeters of Hg or 760 mm of Hg. So now, where the temperature at which vapor pressure of the liquid is equal to its atmospheric pressure, that temperature is called as boiling point of the liquid. Now this boiling point is measured at two conditions. If boiling point is measured with respect to atmosphere, that is called as normal boiling point. And with respect to bars, that is called as standard boiling point. And that means the boiling point two types. One is the normal boiling point, another one is standard boiling point. Now, if you express that is boiling point with respect to atmosphere, see here. Let it be water. At 100 degrees centigrade, vapor pressure of water is equal to 76 centimeters of Hg, which is nothing but 1 atmosphere, which is equal to atmospheric pressure. Now, atmospheric pressure is equal to vapor pressure of the liquid. Now, this 100 degrees centigrade is called as boiling point, but it is expressed in atmosphere. It is normal boiling point. Therefore, normal boiling point of water is equal to 100 degrees centigrade. Means at this temperature, vapor pressure of water is equal to atmospheric pressure. At this temperature, vapor pressure of water is equal to 76 centimeters of Hg. But if it is expressed in bars, the same value is 99.6 degrees centigrade. That is, there one bar is equivalent. To reach 1 bar, 99.6 degrees centigrade is sufficient. To reach 1 atmosphere, 100 degrees is required. So if it is with respect to atmosphere, that is the normal boiling point. With respect to bars, that is standard boiling point of water. Standard boiling point of water. Now, for any liquid, normal boiling point is always greater than standard boiling point. For water, normal boiling point is 100 degrees centigrade. Now, standard boiling point is 99.6 degrees centigrade. No doubt, normal boiling point of liquid is always greater than standard boiling point of liquid. Standard boiling point of liquid. This is all about your vaporization, condensation. Vapor means liquid to vapor. That is evaporation. Vapor to liquid is condensation. So these two are in equilibrium. These two rates are equal. That particular state is called as equilibrium. At equilibrium, that vapor exerted pressure on the liquid surface is called as vapor pressure. This vapor pressure is directly proportional to temperature. This vapor pressure is directly proportional to surface area of the liquid. Okay, so this vapor pressure is also depending on so nature of this solvent. Nature of this solvent. For example, what is it? These 2 points are clear or not? Standard boiling point and normal boiling point. Boiling point is expressed with 1 atmosphere, that is standard normal boiling. That is 1 bar, it is a standard boiling point. Okay. Now I am going to express what are the factors affecting on rate of evaporation. What are the factors affecting on rate of evaporation? What are those factors? So see here. First one, temperature. Already I spoke to you. Evaporation is directly proportional to temperature. Evaporation is directly proportional to temperature because as temperature increases, molecules kinetic energy increases, rate of evaporation also increases. Okay. Now I'm going to draw a graph. It is the kinetic energy. As temperature increases, kinetic energy increases. Next, it is on this axis fraction of molecules having that much kinetic energy. So at a particular temperature, see here, at the beginning, no molecules have that much kinetic energy, it is going to zero. So as at a particular temperature, kinetic energy is like this, increases maximum, after that decreases. After that decreases. Let it be at a particular temperature T1. at a particular temperature. That means as kinetic energy increases, fraction of molecules having that much kinetic energy also increases and reaches maximum and then decreases. It is at a particular temperature. Okay. Now I'm going to draw one more graph again. At another temperature, another constant temperature, see here, this much. Let it be T2 temperature. It is T1 temperature, it is T2 temperature. See here. At T1 temperature, so the peak value is like this. Here it is the kinetic energy. At T2 temperature, this is the maximum peak end. It is the kinetic energy. No doubt we know as temperature increases, kinetic energy of the molecules also increases. That means this is the highest kinetic energy. Automatically, this should be the high temperature. High temperature. So low kinetic energy means low temperature. That means here T1 less than T2 only. T1 less than T2. But so as temperature increases, the peak of the curve is increased, flatness is less. So but as temperature increases, peak size decreases and moving towards more kinetic energy side and decreases that the sharpness of the curve is gradually decreases. It is width end, that is broadness increases, sharpness decreases and reaches to maximum kinetic energy side. Maximum kinetic energy side. That means this is the molecules having. This is the fraction of more molecules having that much kinetic energy. That means these molecules are going to evaporate. So in previous case, these are the only molecules going to evaporate. Now in this case, these are the total molecules going to evaporate at that particular temperature. Automatically, number of evaporated molecules also increases as temperature increases. Number of evaporated molecules also increases as temperature increases. Therefore, automatically, so T evaporation is directly proportional to temperature. It is a clear evidence, and it is a clear evidence for that one. See here. Now I'm going to once again discuss here. This is kinetic energy. This is a fraction of molecules having that much kinetic energy. Molecules. So at a particular constant temperature, so as fraction of molecules, that is kinetic energy increases, fraction of molecules having possessing that much kinetic energy also increases to the maximum and reaches maximum kinetic energy and decreases gradually. This is the curve end, kinetic energy, not reaches to zero. Not reaches to zero. Okay. So this is the maximum kinetic energy. This is the fraction of molecules having maximum kinetic energy. More fractions are there. Next, this is at a particular temperature T1. Let it be. Next, if temperature increases, no doubt we know as temperature increases, molecules kinetic energy also increases, but fraction of molecules having that much kinetic energy decreases. So because of that, here this is the curve end. That means sharpness of the curve. This is a T2. Here T2 greater than T1. As the temperature increases, sharpness of the curve decreases, flatness increases, but kinetic energy value increased, fraction of molecules possessing that kinetic energy, maximum kinetic energy decreased. This value is increased. Kinetic energy is increased, fraction of molecules possessing that much maximum kinetic energy decreased. But, so these are the molecules in previous case are going to evaporate. That is maximum kinetic energy. Now, these are the molecules are entered into the vapor state at T2 temperature. That means the vaporizer molecules at T2 is greater than that of at T1 end. That is automatically rate of evaporation increases. That is explained on the basis of this curve. That is explained on the basis of this curve. Okay, see here, this is as T2 greater than T1. So, for example, if curve is like this, here T3, here T1 greater than T3. As sharpness increases, temperature decreases. This is about temperature, effect of temperature on evaporation. More is the temperature, more is the evaporation. Next, already in previous case, I'm telling, I told to you, as the surface area increases, evaporation also increases. Rate of evaporation also increases. More is the surface area, more is the molecules are escaping from the surface. So therefore, evaporation also increases. That means rate of evaporation is directly proportional to surface area. So that is the cup and saucer example. Next, third one, nature of the liquid. Nature of the liquid. Let us take two beakers. It is first beaker, it is second beaker. So equal volume and also equal surface area. Surface area is equal, volume are also equivalent, but one is water and the other is, let it be petrol. One is water, another one is petrol. These are surface water molecules. These are surface petrol molecules. Number of petrol molecules is equal to number of water molecules. But in this case, more is the vaporization. More is the vaporizer molecules at a particular room temperature. Room temperature I am going to take here. Here is also room temperature. But here only less number of vaporizer molecules are there. Why, sir? Why? Means it is depending on the nature of the liquid. Petrol is easy to evaporate because the intermolecular forces between petrol molecules is very, very negligible. Very, very negligible. That is why these are ready to escape from the liquid state. That is easy to evaporate. But the intermolecular forces in water molecules, there is nothing but hydrogen bonds. Is more in case of water. That is why not easy to evaporate. That means intermolecular forces influences more in the evaporation cases. So water has less vapor pressure, petrol has more vapor pressure. Petrol is easy to evaporate, water has less easy to evaporate. That's why those liquids which are easy to evaporate are called as volatile liquids. Volatile liquids. This is less volatile liquid. Less volatile liquid. So petrol is more volatile than water end. Means petrol is easy to evaporate than water end. That means at room temperature, petrol is, that means, for example, boiling point. Let us take boiling point. Boiling point of petrol is equal to 25 degrees centigrade. That means at 25 degrees centigrade, vapor pressure of petrol is equal to 1 atmosphere. Easy to evaporate. That is why, so during pouring of the petrol into your tank, bike tank, automatically it is something vapors are escaping from the tank. That is due to like this because easy to evaporate. Petrol is easy to volatile case. Okay, but water has vapor pressure of water. Vapor pressure, that is boiling point of at 25 degrees centigrade. Vapor pressure of water not equal to 1 atmosphere, and that is atmosphere pressure. That is not easy to evaporate. Not easy to evaporate. That is why petrol is more volatile than water. So petrol is more volatile than vapor. That means it is easy to evaporate. That means here this 25 degrees centigrade is taken as boiling point of that petrol. But here 25 is not a boiling point of petrol. For that case, 100 degrees centigrade is required to equalize these two. That means those liquids whose vapor volatility more is the volatile, boiling point is low. Volatility is inversely proportional to boiling point. Here volatility is less, boiling point is higher. Therefore, boiling point of the liquid is inversely proportional to volatility of the liquid. Boiling point of the liquid is more inversely proportional to volatility. That means those liquids which having higher boiling point are less volatile, lower boiling point are more volatile. Higher boiling point, less volatile, more boiling point, higher boiling point, less volatile, lower boiling point, easy to volatile. The best example for that one is high water and petrol cases. Water and petrol cases. So these are the factors that influencing on evaporation. Influencing on evaporation. Now, what about the vapor pressure? Vapor pressure cases, pressure concept. So this volatility concept in terms of vapor pressures, I am going to explain here. as the temperature increases, vapor pressure of liquid also increases. Vapor pressure is directly proportional to temperature. Vapor pressure is directly proportional to temperature. See here, more is the vapor pressure, easy to evaporate. Easy to evaporate means more volatile. More volatile means boiling point is lesser. Boiling point is less. Therefore, boiling point is inversely proportional to vapor pressure. Boiling point is inversely proportional to vapor pressure. Very, very important. Boiling point of the liquid is inversely proportional to vapor pressure. Vapor pressure is directly proportional to temperature. As temperature increases, vapor pressure also increases. Let us take different liquids. See this. Consider these three graphs. This is the vapor pressure axis. This is the temperature axis. Temperature axis. Now I am going to take one liquid only. So as the temperature increases, vapor pressure increases. So see here, as temperature increases, vapor pressure increases. It is the liquid one. There is one more. As temperature increases, vapor pressure of that liquid also increases. Let it be 2. One more. As temperature increases, vapor pressure of the liquid also increases. 3. That means temperature and vapor pressure not directly proportional. That means not exactly any. It is not a linear curve. It is just a hyperbolic curve. That means not linear. It is exponentially increases. Exponentially increases. If this vapor pressure is equal to 76 centimeters of Hg, that is equal to 1 atmosphere, which is equal to atmospheric pressure. So this is the atmospheric pressure. That means here vapor pressure is equal to atmospheric pressure, and here vapor pressure is equal to atmospheric pressure, and here also vapor pressure is equal to atmospheric pressure. In this case, in first liquid, the corresponding temperature, let it be T1. This is the corresponding temperature, which is T2 only. This is the corresponding temperature, which is T3 only. No doubt, T3 greater than T2 greater than T1. What are these T1, T2, T3? These are the temperatures. The vapor pressure of the liquids is equal to atmospheric pressure. Therefore, this temperature is taken as boiling point of first liquid. It is for second liquid. It is for third liquid. That means first liquid boiling point is less, means this is more volatile. First liquid is more volatile. It is least volatile. Least volatile. So the middle one is the medium volatile. That means those liquids whose volatility is more has less boiling point. Volatility is low has more boiling point. Has more boiling. It is the boiling point of third one. It is the boiling point of second one. And boiling point of second one. That means, so it is the vapor pressure curve. So these are explained on the basis of vapor pressure versus temperature by using a relation that is called as Clapeyron relation. That explains the relation between vapor pressure and temperature. By using that relation, we can calculate how the vapor pressure affected by the temperature. That equation is Clapeyron equation. It gives vapor pressure versus temperature explanation. Log P2 by P1 is equal to delta H by 2.303 R into 1 by T1 minus 1 by T2. Log P2 by P1 is equal to delta H by 2.303 R into 1 by T1 minus 1 by T2. Here P2 is equal to vapor pressure of liquid at T1 temperature, T2 temperature. P1 is equal to same at T1 temperature. What is this delta H? That is enthalpy of vaporization. Enthalpy of vaporization. R is the constant. So this enthalpy of vaporization we are going to discuss in thermodynamics and so but this is the relation which explains how vapor pressure varies with temperature. How vapor pressure varies with temperature. This is the best explanation that is given by Clausius-Clapeyron equation. Okay, so finally here, what is vaporization? What is vapor pressure? How this vapor pressure affects experimental values? Yes. How this vapor pressure varies with temperature? No doubt, as temperature increases, vapor pressure of the liquid also increases. So that is compared with different liquids, liquid 1, liquid 2, liquid 2, liquid 3. That is the comparative studies. After that, that is how vapor pressure is varied with respect to temperature. That is explained on the basis of Clausius-Clapeyron equation. Vapor pressure is nothing but pressure. It is expressed in terms of atmospheres or something like that. Pressure units and vapor pressure has pressure units. Vapor pressure directly proportional to surface area. That means vapor pressure is a surface phenomenon. And vapor pressure is a surface. So directly proportional to surface area, directly proportional to temperature. Directly proportional to temperature, but inversely proportional to intermolecular forces. So these are the concepts towards your vapor pressure. It is all about your chemistry. Assignment doubts. So please send those numbers to my WhatsApp number. I will clarify. Afternoon. Okay. So please send those numbers. Time after 5. Because up to 5, I have classes. The number is 94-904-106-4. Exam syllabus up to this. Entire from the beginning. Up to liquid stage. Okay. Tomorrow we are discussing towards that other topics, that is atomic structure. Okay. Why, sir? Why don't irritate? Is this from my side? That irritation from my side or not? Dear students, don't irritate, sir. That means I'm going to irritate you. But why? Atomic structure is not in your exam syllabus. Okay, next topic, that is surface tension and viscosity. A brief information. Just what is surface tension? Now second topic is surface tension. Indicated with the letter gamma. But I'm sending all the theoretical data to you. Please read carefully. That's enough. Okay. Surface tension gamma. See here. Let us take a liquid. This is the beaker. It's full of water. Let us take this is the water. This is water. Okay. Now, this is a surface molecule. This is a bulk molecule. And this is bulk molecule. This is surface molecule. Bulk molecule and surface molecule. This bulk molecule is equally attracted by other surrounding molecules. That means net force is equal to 0. Net force. This is cancelled by this one. This one cancelled by this one. That means in all directions, force of attractions are equal. Because that molecule is surrounded by all other molecules. But in this case, only these are the connecting molecules. But in this direction, no molecule is there. That is why this is the direction, this is the direction, this is. But upward direction is not possible. That means in this case, In this case, net force is not equal to 0. Net force is not equal to 0. That means this surface molecule is pulled by the bulk molecules towards liquid side. That is perpendicular to the surface of that liquid. This force, that pulling force, is called as a surface tension. That pulling force is called as surface tension of the liquid. Because of that, the molecule, the shape of that molecule is going to rounded. That is a rounded shape. The rounded shape of the droplets is due to surface tension. The rounded shape of those droplets is due to surface tension. Okay, so this is all about surface tension. As temperature increases, surface tension of the liquid decreases. So as temperature increases, surface tension of the liquid decreases. So what are the units of this surface tension? Units are Newton per meter or dyne per centimeter. And it is MKS system. It is a CGS system. Units of the surface tension, that is the surface tension. So my dear boys, very, very important surface tension concept. So what are the effects? What are the effects of this surface tension? Okay, so see here. Effects of surface tension. What are these effects? First one, spherical shape of liquid drops is due to surface tension. Is due to surface tension. So every liquid drop is going to spherical. That spherical shape is due to this surface tension. Now, the second and most important one. Second and most important. So here, see this theory. If attractive forces between, these are the attractive forces between similar molecules and similar molecules, that attractive forces are called as cohesive forces. Attractive forces between similar molecules is called as cohesive forces. Now, if attractive forces between different molecules, so these two are different molecules. If these attractive forces are called as, the attractive forces between different molecules is called as adhesive forces. These attractive forces are considered as adhesive forces. So let us take this concept in case of water and mercury. Water and mercury. So when water is filled in a capillary tube, see here, this is the glass tube. This is the glass tube. If water is filling in this glass tube, so water is filled here. This is all water and that water looks like this one, and that is just looking like that meniscus case. This is called as lower meniscus. And lower meniscus. So this lower meniscus is due to here molecule to molecule. That means water molecule to water molecule, the attractive forces are very, very high. That means cohesive forces are greater than that of adhesive forces. In this case, between water molecule and water molecule, cohesive forces. Between water molecule and surface of that liquid, that is glass, that is adhesive force. So adhesive force is less than that of cohesive force. Adhesive force is less than that of cohesive force. That means every molecule strongly attracting towards this one. That is why lower meniscus is applicable in case of water. So why lower meniscus is applicable? That meniscus is due to surface tension. That meniscus is due to surface tension. In this case, cohesive forces, but means water molecule to water molecule attractive forces because of hydrogen bonds, intermolecular hydrogen bonds. The cohesive forces is greater than that of adhesive forces, where it is that water molecule to the surface, glass molecule. So that is adhesive force. These are less than that of this one. That is a molecule is pulling downward direction. That is a lower viscous is observed. At the same time, if you take the glass tube, in the glass tube, mercury is taken. Mercury is taken. That mercury seems like this. That means here upper meniscus we observed. That upper meniscus, it is mercury, my dear boys. It is mercury. That upper meniscus is due to here adhesive forces greater than cohesive forces. And adhesive forces means mercury versus glass and is greater than mercury versus mercury and mercury versus mercury. So in this case, that is why here upper meniscus is observed. In this lower meniscus is observed. These two are only due to surface tension. These two are only due to surface tension. Very, very important. Okay, next one. Next one. What are the effects? So see here. Next point, note point. Hydrophobic solutes. Phobic means phobia, not liking, not attracting. Hydro means water ending. Water is not attracting solutes like soap, detergent. These are not attracted by water. That is why these are considered as hydrophobic. When these solutes are dissolved in water, these are not attracted by water. In this case, surface tension decreases. Surface tension decreases. So to the some extent, and then constant later. At last, it is going to be constant. First decreases and then later constant. So, okay, this is hydrophobic. Soap particles. Soap particles means that is C17H35 COO minus Na plus, and that is a stearate molecule. Stearate molecule. It is a soap particle. If this is dissolved in water, so when soap is dissolved in water, automatically the surface tension of water is going to decrease. Surface tension of water is going to decrease. Otherwise, see here, it is hydrophobic case. If hydrophilic means water attracting water attracting solutes. Hydrophilic solutes like glycerol, there is glucose, these are attracting, these are completely dissolved in water. This decrease, that is surface tension increases. This increases surface tension of water. Their surface tension of water decreases, their surface tension of water increases. Surface tension of water increases. Okay, so next. Another one, less soluble substances like methyl alcohol decreases surface tension of water. So please be mind, hydrophobic end first decreases and later constant, not completely decreases. After some work, it is going to constant end. So hydrophilic end completely increases the surface tension of water. So less soluble substance like methyl alcohol automatically completely gradually the surface tension of water going to decrease. Based on this concept, so in 2016 IIT bit is there. So see here that bit I'm going to explain here. So that is previous IIT bit based on this topic. So there are 3 graphs are given to you. This is 2016 IIT and 2016 IIT bit. There are 3 graphs are given to you. One is like this. It is a surface tension in this direct increases. It is concentration of that liquid. So gradually it is like this. It is first graph only. Let it be first. It is concentration. It is surface tension. Here graph is like this. Let it be 2. Next third case. Surface tension, concentration. It is like this. Like this. That is third ending. That is third. One chemical is KCl. Another chemical is concentration is there is methyl alcohol CH3OH. Third chemical is CH3 CH2 11 times OSO3 minus ion Na plus ion. Where these are matched? Where these are matched? It is ionic chemical KCl, which is completely soluble in water. Water, there is hydrophilic case in it. It is hydrophilic case. It is methyl alcohol, less soluble in water. It is hydrophobic case in it. Second, it is in first graph. Which one is going to match? In first graph, which is going to match? 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. See here, as concentration of that particular chemical increases, surface tension gradually decreases. Here, surface tension increases. First decreases and then going to constant. All these points I already explained to you. Already I explained. Hydrophilic case, it is hydrophobic case ended. It is hydrophilic case ended. It is less soluble case ended. Less soluble case. When less soluble substances are added, the surface tension gradually decreases. The surface tension gradually decreases. Now, this is the first graph is for second one. Next, continuously increases, which is very deep. That is hydrophilic case. This is for second case. And last one, hydrophobic, first increases and then constant. Hydrophobic case. So this is the matching that is given in your 2016 IIT. This is the only bit from liquid side appeared. Okay. So this is all about your surface tension and other concepts. So this is surface tension. So my dear boys, please listen surface tension topic carefully in your physics class. Use that one here also. You don't worry. No problem. Hydrophobic means not attracted by water. Hydrophilic means attracted by water. Less soluble means a little attraction is there. A little attraction is there. How to identify? So more is the carbon content. Carbon part, as carbon content increases, water solubility decreases. This is ionic, soluble in water. This is covalent. A carbon percentage increases means covalent. Covalent molecules are less soluble in water, not soluble in water. This is covalent. Carbon, organic part is completely covalent. Organic solvents are not dissolved in water. Organic solvents are not dissolved in water. Okay, so just like that, here we are going to discuss. So this is all about your surface tension. For our chemistry side, now and last, that is viscosity. viscosity. So viscosity means one type of resistance. And one type of resistance. What is the answer? Those options are given to you in your notes. So methyl alcohol, less soluble, continuously decreases. Therefore, methyl alcohol matches first one. KCl, completely soluble hydrophilic, matches second one, continuously increases. Soap particle, last one is soap particle. That is first it decreases and then so just a small topic, just within 5 minutes. Within 5 minutes, see here. So within 5 minutes, I'm going to close this topic right now. Okay, see here, viscosity indicated with letter eta. Viscosity. For example, I'm going to pour water. Water is pouring on floor. See the moment of water molecules. Next, oil is going to pour on floor. See the moment, which is free to move, oil or water on floor. And we are going to pour oil. Oil is free to move or water is free to move. Water is free to move. That means water has less viscous than oil. And oil is more viscous. Viscous means resistance force and opposing forces and moment opposing forces and particles moment opposing forces is called as this viscosity. And viscosity indicated with the letter eta. So let us take the explanation for this viscosity. Let us observe. We are going to observe here flow of water in ponds or some lakes, something else. See here. I'm going to take a canal. These are waters and this is a canal. Okay. So what we observe here, this is upper layer. This is the upper layer of canal. It is the middle layer of canal. It is the bottom layer of canal. So no doubt we are clearly observe that upper layer moving fast moving. When we are going to down, lower layer something slow and middle that is something slow. That means when we are going down the depth of the canal, the speed of those layers, water layers, gradually decreases. This gradual decrease in speed of this canal, that water layers, is called as laminar flow of liquid. Laminar flow of liquids. Why this liquid velocity decreases? Because of viscosity. That means these molecules are attracted by these molecules. This is water molecule, this is water molecule, and this is these attracting molecules. But kinetic energy of these molecules is more than that of this one, that it is free to move on. So because of these molecules, these are not that much attracted, that is slightly slowly ending. So these molecules are also attracted by inner walls. That means these are upper surface molecules only attracted by this one. This is the middle molecules attracted by this one and also this one end. Next, this is the lower molecules attracted only by this one. Therefore, the surface area velocity gradually decreases. velocity gradually decreases because of intermolecular forces. So that the gradual decrease in velocity is called as laminar flow of liquid, layer flow and layer flow of liquid. And let us take three layers. Let us take three layers. See here, what are those three layers? See here, this is the first layer. First layer. This is the second layer. This is the third layer. This is the third layer, three layers. Let the velocity of middle layer is u. Now the velocity of this one is u plus du and something more velocity. And this one is u minus du and something low velocity. And u is the velocity of middle layer. U plus du is the velocity of upper layer. U plus u minus du is the velocity of lower layer. Now the distance between these two layers, let it be dz. The distance between the layers. Next, here also, the distance between these two layers also dz and equidistant. Okay. Now viscosity, that is velocity gradient, that is gradual decreasing or increasing cases, and gradient is directly proportional to, is equal to du by dz and directly proportional to du by dz and. Next, the force of attraction is directly proportional to area of the layer and. Okay. Next, this force is also directly proportional to du by dz and. Therefore, force is directly proportional to A into du by dz. So, by taking this proportionality constant with a constant, that is F is equal to some constant eta into A into du by dz and. This is the equation. Here eta is the proportionality constant. It is called as coefficient of viscosity and coefficient of viscosity. So this viscosity is inversely proportional to temperature. Inversely proportional to temperature. So my dear point, so very, very important. Viscosity is inversely proportional to temperature, is directly proportional to hydrogen bonds. Viscosity is directly proportional to hydrogen bonds, which is directly proportional to molar mass of the gas. Molar mass of the gas, which is directly proportional to density of the gas, density of the liquid. Molar mass of the liquid and density of the liquid, and more is the hydrogen mass, more is the attractive force, viscosity increases. That means opposing force increases. Opposing force is nothing but viscosity. Opposing force is nothing but viscosity of that one. Now this viscosity, what are the units of this viscosity? Finally, I am going to conclude the units. Units of viscosity. This viscosity is not a surface phenomena, my dear boys. It is not a surface phenomena. So unit, that is dyne centimeter power minus 2 seconds, which is called as Poise. Poise. It is a Celsius unit. It is a Celsius unit. Dyne centimeter square, because force per end, force and. Next, 1 poise is equal to gram centimeter inverse second, which is equal to 10 power minus 1 kg meter, that is meter power minus 1 second inverse. Second inverse. These are the different units. So poise, dynes, all these are the units of this viscosity. So this is all about your viscosity concept. So finally, viscosity is inversely proportional to temperature. Inversely proportional to temperature. Okay. So all these about this last. So here our chemistry part is only vapor pressure. Remaining surface tension and viscosity both are completely physics and please learn that exactly. So just I am going to give I gave here a brief information to you. Okay. So that is the end of states of matter chapter.